So happy to have with us today two Greek American brothers who have gone on to write and produce some of my favorite shows: Netflix original Blood of Zeus, anime Death Note on Netflix, and feature film Immortals with Henry Cavil and Mickey Rourke. From Asia Minor Pictures, let's all welcome Vlas and Charley Parlapanides.
Okay, I guess I got to add you. I practiced and I practiced this, guys, and I still messed it up.
No, you didn't. You did a great job. Thanks for having us. How are you? Good to see you guys.
Great to see you guys.
Great to see you. Thank you so much for joining us again this year. You've been you guys just been so thoughtful and helpful and in raising money for the Greek school program. We appreciate it so much.
It's our pleasure, Bob. And it's great the work that you do to promote Hellenism and our culture. And I just wanted to say, I saw that little clip about Batra. Our family is originally from Smyrna, but after the Turks chased them out when they burned Smyrna in 1922, they ended up in Batra. And our parents were married. The church they were standing in front is the new St. Andrews. They were married in the old St. Andrews, which is right next to it. And whenever we go to Batra, we always go visit, and they have the cell that St. Andrew lived in next to the old church. That's why they built it there. So you can go down there and basically stand in the footsteps of one of the apostles. And we love that church for a million reasons. So it was a nice way to kind of start this off, to see that little video. And that's where our parents got married. And our mom told us the story of, like, when she was in school in Greece and they were returning St. Andrew's relics, his head is there in the church. She said everyone was going crazy and they were so excited. And so it was a very fitting start to this show to see that.
Well, thank you. It was fun. It was fun getting people to from Greece to come on and to kind of say how much they appreciate what we do here, because it's important, and you guys take it to a whole new level, because you don't shy away from your Hellenism, from being Greek or anything like that. It shows in the television shows and the movies that you write and produce, and it shows in. You can pick it up in within the characters themselves. So that's to me, that's just amazing.
Well, Spielberg talks about it. Every film that he makes, there's part of him that's in that film or that show. Most of the films that he makes, because he has more control over those than some of the shows he produces. But I feel that it's true. We're very proud to be Greek. We're very proud of our Greek heritage, and and very proud of our roots and where we grew up, from a very small town. And so a lot of those things are reflected in our shows, because those are the things that we value, those are things that we adore, and those are the things that we feel are it's important to share some of those those ideas, and to kind of depict characters that have if not a similar upbringing, one that they can relate to, because it's a very relatable upbringing, coming from meager beginnings and really working hard and emphasizing education and our faith, and it's all part of who we are. And the best examples of that were our parents growing up. And our father, he was one of the founders of our church back home, and we took pride. He took pride in his Hellenism, and he believed in the faith. And when you bring a church into fruition, it's the gift that keeps giving. So it can be a place where people can go and they can pray, they can find strength, they can renew their strength. And if they're experiencing adversity, it's a place they can go and they can hopefully find some peace.
And two, we're talking about Greek school, and like, we went to Greek school at our church. The church is the hub of everything. You go to Greek school there, you do Greek dancing, you go there on Sundays, you go there for your faith, you go there for basketball and volleyball. So we're very, thankful and grateful for this amazing cultural inheritance. It's a plethora of riches, to be Greek and to learn Greek and to learn about our culture and our faith. And so we always say some of these stories we write in the mythological and Greek mythology space, they're not our stories, they're Greece's stories. And they're some of the first stories the Western world knew. and we're very proud to be able to claim that we're a part of that heritage, that that our bloodline traces back to that. So we thank God every day we were born Greek. I know it maybe sounds a little big fat Greek wedding-ish, but thank God, like we are so blessed. We couldn't ask for a better culture.
You're in the right space for that kind of attitude, that's for sure. But yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. You both went through Greek school growing up, so you kind of see the importance of it. And is this? I know you both have young children. Are you teaching them Greek? Are you planning on putting them through a Greek school program as well?
Well, you have experience right there, bro. I think Charley's daughter is going to Greek school right now. She's learning to speak Greek, and she's learning the language, and she's learning to read. And you can talk to that. She has a great teacher.
Yeah, Nick. Well, what we'll say is that we grew up. Our mom actually was the Greek school teacher initially at our church. She was a teacher in Greece before she got married. I was a little bit luckier because by the time it came time for me to go to Greek school, I was the fourth. I was the youngest. I think my parents were getting worn out. My mom had stopped teaching Greek school, and she was working more full time. So I only went for like 2 years, and then I was out. And I regret that. Obviously, I still speak Greek, and we ended up learning. But yeah, we definitely grew up. That was part of it. And even though as kids, we would come from school and then have to go to another school, like that just didn't seem fair. We had to go to Greek school after we already had been to school and our friends were going to play. But it was great that we did, and we're glad that we did go because it's such a gift to be able to, speak the language and learn the language. And as Vlas mentioned, our daughter started off going to Greek school here at our church here in Long Beach. Then that kind of got shut down by COVID, but now we have an amazing Greek school tutor, Nikki from St. Basil's, who's amazing. And she's just because not only is our daughter learning Greek, but Nikki, teaches her because Nikki's from Greece. She teaches her about the Greek culture and about our faith, and it's just like a great role model. So like that's been great, and we consider that a blessing.
And as Charley said, your mother was the Greek school teacher, and we weren't the best students. I went I went with my sister, and that's sad but true. But and it is, listen, let's be honest, like as Charley mentioned, it's more school, and when you're young, it's not something that you look forward to doing. And there were days where we didn't want to go, but our parents made us go. And I just thank them for doing that, for making us go, because it was an experience that, looking back on it now, was a very valuable one. As Charley mentioned, it's very helpful to learn the language. When you go to Greece, you get more out of that country. And I'm so glad that we did go to Greek school, because I was able to read and write. And that was something that I found to be very enriching. Even though at that time I loathed going, I'm glad that I did. My parents made us go, and I'm glad that I learned. And I think it's important, and we're going to make our kids now. They're going to go when they get to that right age, whether they like it or not, because we feel it's important. And in the long run, it is something that we know they will value, and it's something that will benefit them in the long term.
It's too bad there aren't any immersion programs. There's so much cooking going on here right now that it's crazy. I wish you guys were here, because there's some of the best portakalopita you will ever have.
Oh, yeah. That was my breakfast.
It's crazy. But
there's one immersion school, but it's all the way in Miami. And actually, my wife's cousin married just a great Greek, who makes you proud to be Greek, Vlas Parlapanides, and his father started a school in Miami where it's taught in Greek. And I'm amazed because a majority of the kids aren't even Greek, but they learn Greek, and their test scores are through the roof. So there is intrinsic value to learning Greek. Even their math scores are better. Now, maybe it's just a really good school because we take so much pride in anything we call our own. But I wish there was more of that here on the West Coast.
Yeah, I'd say Aurora went through a Spanish immersion program, so she learned Spanish before
from kindergarten all the way to senior year of high school. So
that's great.
Spanish AP literature, the whole shebang. Yeah.
So she was learning math in Spanish.
Yeah, and history and science, all in Spanish. Yeah.
Yeah. So I always my kids are older now, so I start things from Yankees one day. But that's the sort of thing I envision every day.
know his method, but it's all based on the Greek language. And I think it would only, help people that much more, if we had something like that. But, who knows?
Aurora, did you enjoy, learning Spanish when you were a kid too? I mean, it's probably easier. That's great.
Yeah, my dad said that when I first came home from school on the first day, I was like crying and I was like, I don't know what my teacher is saying. I don't know what she's wanting.
Yeah, that was for us too. Yeah.
But that was like the only time that I struggled. And then, a few months in, I knew everything. I understood everything. And I'm so happy that I did it. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Best thing.
That's so cool.
Did, when you guys go through the creative process, and so much of it is leaning into your Greekness, which is, like I said, this is why you make some of the movies that I love the most. I mean, I always want to be a wall in the writer's room when you guys are writing this stuff. How does that, I mean, are you consciously making decisions based on that, or is this just something subconsciously that just happens when you're writing?
Well, you would be bored to death if you were on the wall. To fly on the wall. It's like watching paint dry. But, I think, Charley says it, and you're only as good as the idea that you write about. So it starts with an idea, and then it really comes down to, and we've embraced what Sorkin said, finding out what our characters want. We spent a lot of time doing that. And then, as he said, and I think he's spot on about this, how your characters go about getting what they want defines who they are. And so once you do the heavy lifting of really understanding who your characters are, then really truly understanding what they want, and it obviously all stems from an idea that has brought the story, I think brought the story into fruition, then it almost becomes, at times, not always, but it writes itself, because this character wants this and then that character wants that, and there's the conflict, and they're facing adversity, and it kind of unfolds. It really, really helps that there's two of us, there's two minds trying to break story, there's two minds trying to figure out a problem that arises, and we just bounce things off of each other, and sometimes Charley has an idea and then I have an idea that spurs another idea, and sometimes there are no ideas. The inspiration, some people have asked us, like, well, what inspires you? Do you just write when you're inspired? And I always tell them, a big mortgage is inspiration. You have to get and you have to write, but we are very blessed to be in a field that we love and that we enjoy doing. And, it's different, I think, also too, from project to project, and it's different, with character to character. When we're writing season 3 now, and we hit kind of like a wall of sorts, but we just kind of chip away at it. Again, there's two of us that are, working at it, and we, so far, knock on wood, have always managed to find our way, past a problem, where we're able to work something out. So, what do you think, bro? What would you say?
I agree with you that it's probably not that interesting, because a lot of writing, it's very much an iceberg. What you end up seeing is only a small percentage of all the bad ideas we also work through and talk through. And like Vlas said, half the time you're just like, you're like a blindfolded person trying to just find their way forward. But then once you hit the path you're supposed to find, then that's when that's it, because then everything starts to unlock. Everything starts to just flow. So we just sit and we spitball and we talk through ideas. And then when you do come upon that right idea, it has a certain amount of life. And so, listen, thank God, we've been very blessed. Couldn't be, happier with how season 2 has come together in terms of the scripts. We love season 3. The first 6-7 episodes are fantastic, and now it's just kind of landing the ending. And for us, and it's something we've learned from our parents, it's very much that immigrant mentality. Nothing replaces hard work. People, that when they talk about writing, Vlas said, do you need to be inspired? writing is very much a blue collar profession. And Oliver Stone used to say that writing is butt plus seat. And that's what equals writing, because you just have to sit down and do it. And then you just keep doing it, and you write some good stuff, you write some bad stuff, and you chip away what doesn't work and you keep what does. And that's the process, you know.
Bob, there's one thing I have to share with you guys though. I remember when, we first were starting out, and that's when I'd resigned from Oppenheimer. I was on Oppenheimer's foreign equity desk, on Wall Street. And I remember, I was sitting there and I was trying to write, and I was just thinking of different ideas and just different characters. And I would be thinking about it, when I was in the shower. But then when it came to writing, I would write like, just like a paragraph. I'm like, this is insane. Like, what was I thinking? Why did I think I could do this? This is like the worst decision I've ever made. This is horrible. And then there used to be this magazine called Scenario back in the day, and they would interview different screenwriters, and they had interviewed Ernst Lehman, and he was one of my favorite. He wrote North by Northwest, and he was just, an Academy nominated, and maybe even won the Academy Award. I don't recall. But he talked about the writing process, and he said there's some times where you don't even write anything. You're just thinking about things, thinking about the characters, thinking about what they want, thinking about who they are. But that is writing. And so it's not like you have to write 5 pages, 10 pages, 3 pages. Part of the process is thinking about it. And so there was a huge relief, because I was like, oh, kind of what he was doing. He said, like, I'd be thinking in the shower, I'd be thinking on the way to work. And it was very similar to my thought process. So that just brought so much relief. Like, oh, I don't have to necessarily write, 10 pages, 5 pages, 3 pages, whatever it is, but I'm still writing. That's still part of the process. And, David O. Russell does that. He just always thinks. He'll spend like a month, 2 months, 3 months, just thinking. And then finally, when it comes to writing, he'll sit down and he'll write all of it, of the screenplay. And so it's also too, bro, wasn't it that chairman back in Warner's back in the day, when he was like, would walk by the writer's room, and if he didn't hear like someone, on a typewriter, he's like, what are these lazy writers doing? They're just lounging out on the couch. But that is part of the process. Not that we're lounging out on couches. We're always like jotting down notes. But sometimes I'm just walking and thinking, and I'll, when an idea comes, or a piece of dialogue or something, I'll dictate it, in my cell phone. And then it comes down to the time when you're sitting there and you're, putting pen to paper.
The long and short of it is figuring out the stories just as much as writing as actually typing. I forget who said it, but they said, writing is cracking the story. The rest is stenography. Like, the rest is like, that's the easy part, getting it on paper. The hard part's figuring it out. And then,
so true.
So true.
You know what? The only thing I know about a writer's room is what I learned on the Dick Van Dyke Show. Because they had, it was just so funny. And so I always imagine, oh, that must be what it to be like. It must be to be in a writer's room. And so you guys are giving me a cold wake-up call.
But we would tell all the kids out there, just to get back to the Greek school, go to Greek school. It's a great thing for you to do. It's something that you will appreciate and value as you get older, not only in their lives, but they'll recognize how much or how important it is, and they'll want their kids to be able to read and write and to speak the language. And I think it's a beautiful thing. It takes a little more effort, but it's well worth it, in my opinion. I would encourage everyone that has children to encourage them to learn the language, and for those kids that are listening, to go to Greek school. It's a good thing, and they'll be very happy that they did it.
And even just for the two very most practical reasons. One, it was always great that we could speak another language amongst our American friends, and and they wouldn't know what you're saying. That was always a great little.
That's a good one.
One of my roommates in college was Greek, and so we would do that all the time. That was always a big plus. And then we come from the most beautiful country in the world. Like, so when you go back to Greece, it's great to be able to speak the language. It's great to be able to interact with your fellow countrymen. And so it's just worthwhile. I know it's not always easy, and when you're young, you might not want to do it, but you will regret it if you don't. So,
and I'll even add to that. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Sorry, I jumped on you there. I jumped on your lines there, bro.
No, go ahead.
No, but I was going to say, in addition to Greek, I took Spanish in high school, and I regret not continuing, to learn Spanish. So that was another thing. I think that when you learn as many languages as you can, it's an enriching experience. And it was, again, I wish I just kept up with my Spanish. I think that would have made going, to Spain or wherever that much more of an enriching trip, and you get more out of the country. And it's just something that I just wish I had done when I was younger.
Well, you're absolutely right. Learning as many languages as you can. And when you run across people, and we have people in our community that can go from English to Greek to Spanish to Italian to, they just kind of weave in and out. And I'm always kind of jealous of them, because that is really cool. So I don't want to keep you guys too much longer, but I did want to ask you about season 2 of Blood of Zeus, because I know if I don't, my kids are going to yell at me. And so
Tell us.
And so I don't want you. When is the expected air date to start on that?
And remember, we're live.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we can't get into the specifics of when it's going to be released, but as Charlie said, and I'm curious to see what Charlie has to say. But in terms of the episodes and where the story has gone, it's so cool. I think people are really going to be they're going to be surprised, but they're also, when you look back on it, it's like, oh yeah, I see why it went there. And we're so proud of how the story came together. So we're super excited.
We don't, that's a Netflix question. They set the schedule, they set the dates. We don't even know. So we can't even, but
sadly, and a lot of people are asking.
Yeah. I bet.
Like Vlas said, we couldn't be prouder of the scripts and of the story. And I think, episode 203, maybe the best episode of the show, and 208, those are the ones that I can't wait to see. So the 3rd and 8th episodes of season 2, like every time, I just couldn't be prouder of those episodes, and can't wait, for them to get done and for them to be back out in the world again. But we're waiting too. We're wondering too, but we can't wait for season 2 to be out and done and out in the world.
I love the cliffhanger on season 1. I love that. I just love.
Well, then you're gonna love season 2.
Yeah,
season 2. Yeah, you really are, because it really is a springboard to what goes, and it's done in a way where it's going to surprise people, but in a very pleasant way. And
good. I don't want to go too into it, because I don't want you guys to accidentally say something, but all I can tell you is that we are very proud of you in this community, to both of you, and we just think you guys are amazing, and you're so supportive. I'm glad you haven't gone Hollywood. That's all I have to say, I guess.
God forbid. God forbid, Bob and Aurora. It's great what you're doing. Thank you for having us on.
You guys do what's wonderful.
Yeah, and it's so important. We're just proud to be part of this community. We grew up, on the East Coast in New Jersey, but because we grew up in the church, we grew up in the same community. Even though you guys were all the way over here, we had the same experience, just on different coasts. But it's that Greekness, it's everything that's imbued in our culture and our people, that philotimo. We're very blessed. We just thank God. We thank God to be Greek.
And for those people that don't know much about it, it's what's it about? It's about hard work. It's about accountability. It's about loving each other. It's about acceptance. It's about helping your fellow, man whenever you can. These are the beautiful things that we have, and some of the things that people don't know. And it's something that we always need to kind of, continue to do ourselves, and, hopefully pass that along to our children.
Well, you guys are doing a phenomenal job, and you're not only passing it on to your children, but you're passing it on to generations of other children and other people's children as well, through the material you create for the zeitgeist that is, movies and television and all of that. I mean, it's everywhere, and I know I appreciate it tonight.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, we all do. But thank you. Thank you for supporting.
Always a pleasure. Thank you so much. And God bless. And keep up the good work. And thank you for thinking about us and including us.
Well, thank you.
you.
All right, guys. Bye-bye.
Say hi to everyone.
Bye.
We will. God, we're always so lucky when they come on the show. They're such wonderful people to have on, and you know, we're lucky to be part of a community that has such a diverse skill set of people, and that, you know, we've got everything from restaurant owners to engineers to financial people to people that work in the filmmaking industry. So there's just a lot going on in this community. You know, we're waiting for our next guest to come on, but I thought maybe while we wait for them, I wonder what the food's looking like.
I know.
Do you want to see?
I'm wondering what it's tasting like.
Hey, George, do you want to show us some of the food you're creating? Let's see if I can get this camera here. Get the camera line, the second camera lined up. George, do you want to go see if? Let's see if I can get some of the food here on the table and take a look at what George has been creating for us, because he's been, boy, that guy has been cooking for 2 days now. I mean, pretty solid 2 days, and just been incredible to kind of watch him go at it. I'm going to see if I can get another camera going. Well, that's a camera, all right. And I'll let it. Let's see if we can get some food in here to show you guys some of the things that we're cooking. Oh, what is that? Oh my God. Oh, look at that. Wow. That's Portocalopita. Let's see. I haven't done this before. Let's add another camera to the stream. Look at that.
Oh,
wow. Yeah, folks, that's Portocalopita. You know, we're not really doing all the traditional dishes, although we are going to have, we're not having bacalao today, although normally you would have bacalao celebrating Greek Independence Day. And you would have scordalea, which is the garlic potato, mashed potato garlic sort of thing that you can then use as a dip. But we do have Portocalopita, which is pretty amazing. I don't think we need this. I think we'd see it just fine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But that was it's kind of fun to do this because, hey, at the bottom you can see how you can contribute. So if you'd like to contribute, oh, let's see, we've got a comment here. Panayoti, thank you, Panayotis, and Panayotis is part of Grecopaths, and also if you're from, we've done shows with the group from Grecopaths. They're near Nafplion. And they're going to have their first Greek festival this year, and you can kind of see some of that. Oh, what do we have here now? Halva.
Oh, that smells really good.
Oh my gosh, that is really good too. So if you like contribute, donate, you see everything just at the bottom there. So please donate to the St. Basil's Greek Orthodox Greek School Program. Oh yeah, that's something you should put out. Yeah, here, let's here do that again, because put that out. All right, hey guys, I think we're gonna cut this short because I have to start making souvlaki, and so we can't thank you enough for joining us. And as always, my lovely co-host Aurora, thank you so much for being here. And we'll tell you one more time here. There it is. There's the barcode. Take your phone just like this. Go to camera. Hit the camera button. And that's how you donate right there. Just with that. You can do it from a long distance too, I checked.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be that close. And, you know, we've, here, I'm going to, you guys have the phone numbers are in the link. The link, you can click the links in the description and the chats. And you can get around that way too. We thank all of you for being on the show and or watching the show and helping us in all this. And with that, let's see. I want to make sure I do the right one here. we'll say yes,
Yes, sir.
yes, us.
Yes, us. Ready?